welcome to your reading. So first off, happy birthday. We've just entered Leo season. So I'm wishing you many happy solar returns whenever your birthday is. But yes, let's get into your reading. This is going to cover the 2 weeks that follow the full moon in Aquarius. So let's see, what's kind of coming up for you in terms of themes. Yes. So I just thought I'd mention that a couple of people have asked me where I got this casting cloth and these cards from. And the answer is that I made them myself so that I could practice geomancy. So a couple of you bought my book and then asked whether, I would think about producing some cards to go with them, for people that don't necessarily want to just throw dice or whatever. So I'm busy working on that at the moment, and I'll let you guys know when they're available for sale. But thanks so much to all of you who did support me and who continue to support me, either here on the channel or by your likes and shares and follows on social media and my website. I want to make sure I give these a good shuffle. Okay, let's cut the cards. Yeah, that really looked like it wanted to come out. Right, let's get into this reading. Okay, so as you kind of come into this this full moon, it looks as though you are trying to make some decisions. This is Mercury in Gemini energy. So this is Albus, which is a blank sheet of paper. It's also pale, it's white. So it can sometimes be about detachment, which to me says that you're trying to kind of make logical decisions from the point of view of the head. So we'll get into more of what those decisions are likely to be about when we do the rest of the reading. Okay, interesting. So Via here in your 4th house of home and family suggests that maybe you're thinking about relocating. Via is about travel, it's about forward movement and momentum. So you're either thinking about relocating, or perhaps you're thinking about moving to a new home. Maybe your current home is not really suiting your needs, and you've become aware of it as a result of having to be at home a lot. So it's possible that you're either moving home, or there's some kind of movement to do with home and family. Okay, so Albus has come out twice here in your 7th house. Now it's interesting because this is going to be the houses where the full moon takes place. So at the full moon, the moon will be here in your 7th house of partnerships, and so that tells me that a lot of your emotional energy is kind of centered on one-to-one relationships and commitments. Now these don't have to be romantic partners. They could be to do with business partnerships, contracts of some kind, but equally they could be important people like friends, really important one-to-one significant relationships here. So it does look as though something is kind of coming to a head or coming to culmination. You're having to really think about things, think things through. Yeah, quite interesting. Okay, right, so when it comes to career and your kind of future plans and goals, it looks as though you're feeling either a little bit restricted, or that a particular path is kind of closed to you, or that there's blocks or obstacles in the way. That's how I'm kind of reading that. This is Saturn in Capricorn energy, Corsair, which is literally about feeling imprisoned, incarcerated. So it's kind of like you've either gone up a particular route and now you feel as though you've got no room for maneuver, you're not sure which way to turn, or it could be that you feel like you lack support from either bosses or mentors or colleagues, or it could simply be that you feel that you've come to the end of the road when it comes to a particular career path. So yeah, let's see what else comes out when I do the conversions, and we can talk further. Hi Leo, welcome back. So as you can see, we've now done all the conversions, and we can get into your reading in more depth. So let's start with the full moon itself, which falls across your first and seventh houses. Now, on the 3rd of August, the moon will be in Aquarius, so here in your 7th house of significant others and partnerships, and the sun will be in your sign, Leo, because of course it is Leo season. So it's interesting that we've got this decision that you have to make, and it somehow involves significant others. Now, you know, I think what is fascinating is that in your 12th house, which is where it's the house of Cancer, that Mercury will be located in Cancer. So Mercury kind of rules this particular geomantic figure, Albus, which is kind of Mercury in its domicile of Gemini. So you're kind of looking for mental clarity. You want to make decisions, and it seems like what you've got on your mind is either a creative project or a relationship of some kind. Because Puella, which is the geomantic figure that we've got here, is Venus in Libra, and Puella is all about those kind of Venusian things like art, creativity, beauty, as well as harmony in relationships. And Puella is often to do, what it can signify, success in relationships, so good relationships with other people. So it looks as though this is a time when you kind of feel as though the full moon is crunch time when it comes to making this decision. So if we take the route of a relationship, for example, then we need to kind of have a look at the other relationship houses for more information. So new relationships are 5th house, and here we've got Acquisitio, which is it's about gain, so it's about expansion and gain. So it's possible that you're feeling optimistic about a new romantic relationship that has kind of got off the ground, and this is forcing you to make a few decisions. Now this may have something to do with either career or relocation, because we've got Via here in your 4th house, which, as I say, it's usually about movement in terms of the home, so moving home literally sometimes. And we've got this sense of restriction in your 10th house of career. So possibly a move, wouldn't be such a bad idea, particularly if you're thinking about moving either somewhere that makes you happier, or to be closer to a romantic partner. Because, there's this sense of wherever you are based at the moment, there's sort of perhaps limiting circumstances. So that's one way to look at this energy. If we are talking about a creative collaboration, then 5th house here indicates that it could make you a lot of money. This is the house of creativity. If we look at the 9th house, which can be the house of publishing, we've got Fortuna Major, so the Sun in Leo, which is your placement, and Fortuna Major here is usually success and serendipity. So this is about fortune smiling on you, basically. So that does look very, very positive. Any kind of foreign connection, doing something to do with religion, spirituality, a foreign culture, or a company that's based in a different country, for example, or something to do with publishing. That also looks really, really positive. We've also got Conjunctio here in your 2nd house, which is about coming together with others, collaborating with others to make money. So it could be some kind of contract that you're currently thinking about, that you're negotiating, to do with some sort of creative project or a publishing thing, which does potentially have the potential to be very successful, which is great, because I mean it looks like where you are now at the moment career-wise is not looking so hot. So that's one way to look at this energy. I think it might be worth also pointing out that one of the key features of the next 2 weeks is going to be a series of aspects that Mercury makes to the outer planets in Capricorn. So Mercury's in Cancer here in your 12th house, and we've got a couple of outer planets here in your 6th house, all in the sign of Capricorn. And Mercury is going to be opposing them, which suggests, you know, potentially a bit of tension, but also the need to balance. So the need to sort of compromise, or to find a way to a middle ground between two kind of polar opposite energies. And this is, I think, one of the main features of this upcoming, well, the energy that we're in already, this Lionsgate portal energy, which started on the 26th of July and will continue until around about the 12th of August. So I do urge you, if you haven't already, to go and watch my special message, my I Ching divination on the energy of the Lionsgate portal, because I think you'll find it very relevant. It's all about making decisions and how to make decisions. And I think that this is particularly pertinent to Mercury and its opposition to the stuff you've got going on in your 6th house, because 6th house here is work and kind of work opportunities, your everyday work environment, its health, all of those kind of things. And here we've got Fortuna Minor, which is also very auspicious. It's generally speaking about support from others, kind of a fortunate turn of events, protection. So it's often that goodwill that we have engendered over time by investing in other people. So it could well be that you've got sort of support now from colleagues. If you know you're finding it, say for example you are having a problem with a boss, you've kind of hit a glass ceiling of some kind, your colleagues will be very supportive. If you are thinking about you know, kind of changing your work environment, so maybe this is why there's a move afoot here, a potential move afoot in terms of your home. Maybe the movement is that you are moving things around in your home because you actually want to work from home if you don't already, and that looks as though it will be, you know, quite beneficial. Here we've got Fortuna Minor reiterated in your 8th house, which is also about combined efforts with others, combined resources. So it may well be that, you know, that this, whatever type of work you're doing or the project you're thinking about doing, you know, if there is a creative project on the go, that, you know, that it will go well if it involves teamwork with others, or with one other person, kind of combining forces sort of thing. Equally, if you're thinking about, say, moving to be with a romantic partner, then it does look as though, you know, if you do decide to sort of move in with them, that it would work out well. Fortuna Minor here seems positive when it comes to shared resources. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of all the other astrological aspects that are worth mentioning. The other one, of course, is you're a couple. So the full moon will be making some important positive aspects to Chiron in Aries. So for you, that falls in your 9th house. And this could be a very healing aspect for you. So perhaps you kind of lost faith on some level spiritually. You know, this is the area of beliefs and, you know, our kind of philosophy on life. So maybe your faith will be restored by whatever happens during this time, some kind of event that kind of gives you hope again. That's one way we could read this. The Sun and the Moon will also be coming off of a square to Uranus, which rules your 7th house. And Uranus for you sits in Taurus, so here, which kind of fits with that square actually. So it kind of explains why we've got this restrictive energy here. That there's a need to cut out something when it comes to your career or your goals. Something isn't working, or a particular approach, or a particular way that a path that you've been following. Plans or goals need to be altered. That's what I feel. And it seems almost as though it's kind of a fortunate obstacle that then kind of puts you onto the road to something more, potentially more successful. So it could turn out to be one of those happy accidents, and that's maybe why the outcome of your reading is so nuanced. We've got sadness, happiness, and then restriction as your kind of outcome. Now, of course, restriction isn't always bad if we're cutting out what isn't working, which is, I think, what needs to happen here. And the fact that it's linked to your 7th house seems to be that it's almost like someone comes in and makes you an offer or a proposal, or makes you think about your career differently, and so you make a change, and this potentially means cutting out or sort of changing long-term plans or goals, but the end result is positive. So it's, in that sense, you know, I think that Saturn can sometimes be about cutting out what isn't working. And yeah, it's interesting because as I say, you've got Tristia, which is Saturn in Aquarius, and then you've got Cassia, which is Saturn in Capricorn. So a lot of Saturn energy in your outcome, as opposed to Jupiter here, which is like Tisha, Jupiter in Pisces. So I do think it's interesting that first of all, Mercury will be making oppositions to both of those planets here in your 6th house. So I think first it makes the opposition to Jupiter on around about the 30th of July, and then it goes to Pluto, and then it goes to Saturn just after or just before this full moon. And then yeah, so that there's definitely kind of a balancing that needs to go on, and I think it's between career and home. And I think if you get that right, if there's a shift here in terms of your home life or family life, then I think other things will kind of fall into place. The other thing to say is that it looks like there is a new beginning coming up for you when it comes to social groups or friends, or you know, the sort of societies that you belong to, your social networks. There's a new start coming, but I kind of feel like that's probably at the next new moon, which I think might actually be in your sign. So first you've got to sort of work on this, making this decision and leaving something behind, because full moons are usually about something coming to a head and then possibly having to be released. And I feel like for you, something is coming to a head when it comes to you and significant others, some kind of contract or agreement. You know, this could be papers, and that A, it could be very healing, could restore your faith, as I say, in certain processes, and B, it's also going to force you to cut something out in terms of long-term plans. But I think the ultimate end result is going to be positive. So yes, interesting reading, Leo. I hope it's been helpful. Do let me know in the comments below if it's resonated, and if you've enjoyed it, hit the like button, and just keep posted on my social media feeds, because I do regular updates in terms of the cosmic weather, so the astrological events, you know, kind of day by day. So check those out too, because they may help you to get clarity on the sort of 2-week trends that we deal with here in the geoscopes. But all the best for this upcoming full moon, and I'll catch you again in a couple of weeks.